Good morning. It is Thursday. It's raining right now. It's starting to stop. Just picked up a Unico evaporator coil module for a customer whose evaporator coil was leaking. I charged it with refrigerant and sealant, and within a couple days it was dead empty. So Mike did a leak detection, found the leak. It was in the evaporator, and we're going to swap it, so hopefully I get some good footage of that. Okay, so here's our condenser for that unit. It was filled with nitrogen, but it was empty when I got here. I was just making sure there was no refrigerant in it. We're going to go see what it looks like up in the attic and get ready and start cutting it out. I'm also going to move the filter dryer to the attic. I'll put a new filter dryer in though. Okay, probably that switch right behind your head.
There's one behind your head too.
That's an outlet. Up in the attic. It is a massive, massive house. And it's on the complete opposite side. I believe it's this one right here, but Peter was here at the evaporator, so he'll confirm once he gets here. Not a terrible attic, but still, it'll probably start to get hot. Okay, so because of how the evaporator coil is, the position and everything in this hydronic coil, we are replacing the coil itself, not the entire coil module. So I'm cutting the lines now. You can see how they mounted the TXV. I don't know if it's supposed to be mounted like that. I'll read the manual, but I've always seen it's supposed to be mounted on horizontal, not vertical. Okay, so it didn't go as planned. We've been trying to figure it out for a while. We ended up holding up this water coil, hydronic coil, for heat, so we didn't snap the pipes. A good amount of tension on it. There's a little bit of play, but we got it held exactly in place, and we just slid this module out, which Peter is pinned under. I'll pull it to me so you could get a better angle and better footing.
Take it out.
And yeah, we'll just go out with it. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna stop recording, but we're gonna carry this out and bring the new one in. Okay, so before we bring it over, I am getting it set up with the TXV. They don't ship it with the TXV in it, so I'll be putting that in. I just cracked it, and there is in fact a nitrogen charge, which is, good. Means that it's probably not leaking like the other one was. Okay, so here's our TXV, and there are no instructions on installing this, but I'm sure it's straightforward enough. It's just direct connections, but I know some people are gonna comment that they don't like this, but I'm putting a little bit of it on the threads so it's easier for me to tighten. See, just a super, super, super tiny bit on there. As well as on these threads right here, just a little tiny bit. There's already a gasket there for this connection, and there's none for this connection. So let's see. Looks like it's gonna be our clamp, which it is. is a gasket in here. Yes, a white gasket. Let's see if it fits on there. No, that's gonna be the wrong one. It fits in here. It does fit perfectly in there, so that has to be it. Let's see what's in this one. And it's that same gasket. It really would be nice if they shipped it with instructions for it. But it does look like there should be a gasket there. Yeah, there definitely should be, so we'll leave it at that. And there's a connection for our suction line, as well as for the sensing bulb. I'm just gonna hold out of the way for now and line it up. Seem to be sitting in there fully. Not lining up perfectly. Tighten everything up nice and slow. Okay, so I tightened everything up. I ended up pulling up the manual. Saw that the TXV is supposed to go right there, so that's where I put it. I wrapped it with what they gave me, and then I wrapped it even more with some foam tape. And got that piece of tubing on there and tightened that up. Wasted about an hour just doing this, because it's impossible to get your hands in anywhere. I hate these systems more than anything I've ever worked on. I feel bad for anybody that has to see these frequently, because it is not easy. But now we're ready to get it in place. I can raise the solder the connections together, pressurize, and we'll figure everything else out after that. I got my headlight on, and now it's time to inch my way back into this corner and get ready to solder. Ooh. It is tight. Where I need to make my connections. It's not so bad once I get on this side. Got a lot more room over here without these beams in the way on this side. But I gotta cut that and clean that. I have a bend made and I have to put the filter dryer there too. So maybe I'll get recording of that, maybe not. Okay, here are my solders. One there, one there, one there, two there, and there. By no means pretty, but I just have no room, and I'm dying of heat right now. So now on to outside for those connections. Okay, so I just cut the filter dryer right out and put a piece of copper in place. Got the temperature clamp hooked up and I got nitrogen put in the system. Only been a few seconds, and we'll let this sit, see if we get any pressure drop. Okay, so we held our pressure test. Now I have the new Fieldpiece 60 FM vacuum pump hooked up with my True Blue hoses and the Blue Vac Plus micron gauge. So we'll see how long it takes to cool down. I may purge with nitrogen as well. Okay, it's been a few minutes. Here's where we're at with our microns. It's bouncing a little bit. It is 120, so I will probably triple evacuate this, and then we'll finish up upstairs. Okay, so here is where we're at with our microns. We're kind of bouncing around here. I'm going to do a decay test, see what happens. If it's good, I'll charge it. If not, I'll let it run for a bit longer. Been running for way more than 10 minutes. Or I don't know if that's the time. It's been running for maybe 30, 40 minutes now, I think. 216. I started at 120, so yeah, about 40 minutes. Okay, and we are charging. I started with 8 pounds, or I charged it with 8 pounds last time I was here. So that's what I'm going to start with, because I had a little bit of pressure in it last time. I may even start to run it a little under it, because I think the tank's going to go empty. I got to back up here, and hopefully I can get some cool air up to Peter. He's finishing up some things. Okay, so I just plugged it in. I stopped at around that 7 pounds. I got this tank hooked up just in case, because that tank emptied out. And we're going to let it run for a little while, see what we get on our temperatures and our pressures, our subcooling, and our superheat. And if I have to charge any more. Scale zeroed out now. It's discharging heat. Not as much as the others, but it's still discharging heat. And no condensation, but it's only been running for less than a minute. Okay, so I watched the pressures for a little bit, and I did add 1.5 more pounds on top of the 7.2. So it's probably about 8.5, considering the hoses. But our subcooling is slowly going up. Our superheat is slowly going down. Our vapor temperature is kind of high, but it's also like 80 degrees inside the house, and the temperature outside is 85 or 84. Let me see. I can't check it on my watch, but it's soaked in sweat. Touchscreen doesn't work. It looks like we're going somewhere. I'm gonna go up in the attic, let it run for a little bit, and see what Peter's up to, and help him finish up everything else. Okay, so Peter actually got everything completely cleaned out up here, which is nice. But one thing I wanted to do is, because I see the water in this pan, I want to make sure we have okay pitch on our unit. Right there, going that way, it's a little bit off, but to our benefit. But going this way, oh, we're pretty much dead level. But I'm gonna raise it up a little bit, just so I can be confident that it's gonna drain well and not fill up this pan. I don't know if this is old or what, but I don't want to see water in here. While I'm up here, I'm gonna just check my supply vent directly, see what our air temperature is. with this? Oh, I have to be distant. I guess I should use probe, but my main probe is lost. Yeah, because now we're rising when I'm at distance. But I'll take my line probe. Settles out at, and then we'll close it up once we're out of here. So we're settling out at around 60, hasn't moved too much. So that's about 20 degrees, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I'll check the return temperature. And maybe leaving it at that as far as charge. Okay, so I'm just filling out the invoicing app. We have practically no subcooling, but for the Unico systems, their TXPs are set for 8 to 10 degrees of superheat. And I know we're cooling well, so as far as charge, I'm going to leave it at that and note it, and maybe see what Mike thinks about it, or do some more research as to why that is. Because it's a brand new TXV, brand new coil. The fan's fine. So I don't know if it's something to do with the outdoor unit. I did just clean the condenser, so maybe it's that. But we're gonna clean everything up and we'll be done. I am heading back up now with some water to prime the trap, make sure it starts draining. One thing that's nice is when I'm even in super short spaces, I don't need to get on my knees. I can just, for some odd reason, I can walk completely folded. But I'll show you everything. Okay, all of our lights died, so I'm using the flash, but oh, I forgot to bring insulation for this line. Here's my solders. Again, not the best looking, but it was just so tight. That space right there I can't get into and had to work from behind it. I did mess with the level on the unit, made sure we were pitched slightly towards the drain. And there are two things. We need to connect this duct, and there is a duct over there that's also disconnected as part of the branch. So if we connect those, I'm sure the customer will notice that, how much better the system's working. Yeah, everything seems to be working well. So we finished up. Started at around 9:30. I thought, but Peter believes it was 10. And finished at, we're leaving now, it's 4:20. So it was rough. It was hot in the attic, but we did it. They're cooling. I have proof that it's not leaking. At least not leaking with the current pressure and temperature, but it's nice. So we're done for the day. If you noticed, I didn't wire in that condensate trap float switch because there's already float switches hooked up to the system. I think he needs 3 float switches. And superheat is exactly what the Unico system wants. To me, that seems like it's more important than what the condenser would be, because it's two different brands, a Rheem and a Unico. But it's cooling well, 20-degree difference. Let's see, it was reading 79 on the thermostat when I left, but the thermostat's way far from the return filter. All the doors were closed in the hallway, and there's not enough supply vents in the hallway. So I opened up one of the bedrooms to see, and the cold air like hit me. It was nice. So it's cooling well. They're very happy, and hopefully we don't see them again for a long time. We had a previous HVAC company that installed that unit. It was installed like less than a year ago. Just the way they installed it made it so much harder. And I don't know what they did with everything else. All the wiring is really difficult to figure out. Nothing's labeled. It's kind of just made to work. But now we're his company for all of his systems. So I think we're going to do a maintenance plan. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any criticisms, advice, or feedback, I'll probably get a lot of that in this video. Leave it in the comment section. Like the video and subscribe. Thanks for watching.